While El Salvador promotes Bitcoin City as economic development, $75,000 is the compensation to displace locals from their homes and farmland. Mangroves are being replaced by runways, and local fishermen are banned from accessing the mangroves. Is Bitcoin City worth destroying homes, livelihood, and the environment? And what does that mean for a $1.4 billion loan from the IMF? In 2021, El Salvador took a big step by making Bitcoin a legal form of payment, like regular cash. The government was excited, believing it could help people without bank accounts and make sending money from other countries cheaper. They even gave people a little Bitcoin to get them started, using a special app called Chivo Wallet. But many people didn't really use it for long. They took the free Bitcoin and turned it into regular cash because they prefer using money they can see and touch. Using Chivo Wallet wasn't widespread across the population. To build Bitcoin City, the government is constructing an airport in La Union. However, this meant removing people from their homes and farms. In order to make the runway, mangroves, which are like forests near the sea, are being destroyed. Mangroves are important for animals and protect the coast from storms. Getting rid of them could harm the environment and make the country less safe. Studies show that intact mangrove forests can reduce hurricane damage. But building an airport on former mangrove land in seismic country may result in the area being dangerously unstable. Also, the local fishermen are not being allowed to access the mangroves, making it difficult for them to earn a living. So is this economic benefit worth the risk? The government says Bitcoin City will create jobs and help the economy grow, but people living there are not so sure. Land prices have gone way up, making it hard for them to afford homes. Some people were offered money to leave, but it wasn't enough to buy new land. The government investment to promote economic development appears not to be benefiting all the locals. While exports and private consumption have improved with foreign demand, the increased job creation has not trickled down to all of the local inhabitants. El Salvador is also facing challenges like poverty, public debt, and not having many options for getting loans as they have limited financing options. The government spending is also significantly more than the revenues, which leaves a fiscal deficit. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, is an organization that gives money to countries in need. They loaned El Salvador $1.4 billion, but they're worried about the country using Bitcoin. The IMF wants El Salvador to be clear about its Bitcoin plans, as it views the digital assets as a risk, and they've asked them not to buy any more Bitcoin. This has created a debate on where the IMF stands, with the agency preventing further accumulation. The IMF report also highlights the need for greater transparency regarding the Bitcoin office and its role in the country's Bitcoin strategy. According to the document, the office must disclose which wallets are linked to its operations. Silicon carbide is used in electric vehicles, AI data centers, battery storage, and other systems. Wolfspeed aims to increase domestic manufacturing and innovation in silicon carbide technology. They received funds from the CHIPS Act in order to expand production. Wolfspeed's technology could make these systems more efficient. But it is important to consider the environmental impact of production and the access to these systems for El Salvador. There should also be regulation of VAs so that El Salvador can enhance compliance mechanisms. To verify client backgrounds to prevent criminal actors from entering the national financial system. All relevant government agencies should ensure transparency and access to public information, including contractual and operational processes. Fraud and mismanagement investigations and the use of public funds per domestic laws and international standards. The public funds that are being put into Bitcoin purchases should be transparent and open for inspection. There are still many unanswered questions. Will Bitcoin City really help El Salvador's economy? Will it be sustainable in the long run? What will happen to the people who were forced to leave their homes? And what other risks are out there? El Salvador's financial and economic landscape will depend on them getting these issues right. Despite efforts to reduce poverty and inequality in El Salvador, the risk perceptions about its institutional capacity remain. The country is also vulnerable to natural disasters and climate change, which can hinder its growth potential. These all remain unresolved problems to this day. What is for certain is that a number of incentives have been issued. Bitcoin is legal tender. And the local authorities are trying to get financial and economic benefits, but the global community might not want to invest in them as they have sovereign debt issues and little transparency. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Stay tuned for our next video.